Hey gang, it sure is good to see you and welcome back to the Stud Pack Build Project. Jordan and I had a crazy week last week. The whole Stud Pack crew went to Vegas for the very first time for the 2023 International Builder Show, and I got an email yesterday. There were over 100,000 people there, and based on the lines, I totally agree with that. What do you think, Jordan?
There was a lot of people there, and I would say for our first time in Sin City, we balanced pleasure and business pretty good.
And Jordan and I had a bunch of goals going in there, and I'd say we accomplished all of them. We got to meet a bunch of you at the Halo booth. That was totally awesome. Took a bunch of pictures, and we gave out every single one of our Halo/Stud Pack Special Edition caps. We got to meet a ton of other creators. We had a bunch of discussions with them, took some pictures, and had some fun on the side. We also met a bunch of companies with great products who are willing to partner with us on the Stud Pack House, and we can't wait to see how all that pans out. But we were already having fun here at the site before we went to Vegas. Remember we had that excavator and we dug up that old propane tank as well as dig up some stumps in the back of the yard? That was to get us all familiar with the machine. We actually had one more day left on the machine before we went to Vegas, so we decided to start digging the excavation pit, the hole for the foundation for the garage. And as you can see, we didn't get very far. So what are we looking at right here in this big mess? Well, right about here is the front of our foundation to the garage. And this little area right here was our attempt to build a ramp 2 feet down into the pit for the machine. But this was so soft, we started to get stuck again. Jordan took a bunch of video of that, but unfortunately, it all got erased.
Yeah, I was trying to make room on my phone for the IBS trip, and in the frantic nature of us getting ready and packing, trying to get videos out, I accidentally deleted it.
Vegas on your mind.
But yeah, that's right. But I will say that's the first time I've done that in 4 years of the channel, so I'll take it.
So let's talk a little bit more about this. Over here, it is 2 feet deep, and we hit the solid clay. Now, while we were gone, we had a torrential downpour. Our neighbors said we had the worst rain they've seen in over a year. And it completely filled this up, and it's not draining at all, which actually is a good thing. Because remember, we hit that clay, that hard clay we're gonna build the foundation on, and it's not allowing that water to go through, which is exactly what we want. And so after Jordan and I got back from Vegas, we had a decision to make. We had to decide, do we wanna continue and do this ourselves, which is what we really wanted to do, or do we hire somebody to do the work for us?
That's right, Dad. We went round and round on what to do because at our core, we want to do this project as much of it as possible ourselves. We want to take this opportunity to learn. We want to take this opportunity to make mistakes. And we really want to learn as much as possible. That's what this build is all about. But there comes a point where you're spending too much money to learn. So for example, that excavator was $1,800 for the entire week. We did a lot, and we sure did learn a lot. One of the things that we learned is that if we were gonna DIY this and pay for another week, we would need another machine besides the excavator. So if we're doing $1,800 for the week for the Mini X, then it's probably gonna be another, what, $1,800 for some type of skid steer or bulldozer? Yeah. So we're looking at around $4,000 just to rent what we need to get this pit dug, and we don't even know if we could do it with the conditions that we have.
Right, I kind of felt like we needed a bigger machine to dig, and then a separate machine just to move the dirt.
Right, but if you've got a bigger machine, then you're introducing more weight, and as we can see, that Mini X was sinking in this stuff already, so is that really the right play? We just really didn't know.
Right, and I was kind of leaning 55% hire somebody, 45% do it ourselves.
You could have been swayed either way.
Easily,
right?
And the amount of money we were spending is what finally tipped the balance.
And that's a great point. We want to be as transparent about the funds on this project as much as possible. And by the time we were going to be done DIY digging this foundation, we were probably going to be in around 10 grand, which is too much. I mean, we don't have an unlimited amount of funds here for this house.
And so the other issue was kind of a time factor, right, Jordan? We didn't want to like dig this pit and then wait several days for the fill.
That's right.
And possibly get this thing full of water again.
We also didn't want it to take us 2 weeks to dig this hole when we know that there are guys out there who can do it in 2 days. So that got us thinking, all right, well, let's figure out what kind of money we're gonna have to spend to hire it out, right? We wanna find somebody who we can utilize, who's gonna get the job done fast for a good price, but also somebody who can come in and we can film, right? You gotta find these guys who are comfortable enough to be on the camera, want their businesses on camera. Some people are absolutely not. Some people are all for it. So I got online and I started Googling dirt working companies, and I found a bunch of different companies. I found like 7 or 8 different companies, and we started going on their websites, and on all these websites, it's got free, fill this form out for a free estimate. So we went ahead, we did the free estimate for all these different companies, and we weren't getting any calls, we weren't getting any emails, nobody was responding. So we actually got a call back from one of these big companies, and they essentially told us, look, we are so busy with commercial projects that we're not even gonna give you a quote on your little 30 by 30 garage pad, okay? That's way out of our scope. So we're like, okay, what the heck? We just spent 2 days filling out all these quotes, nobody's calling us back. We're kind of stressing out. How are we ever gonna find anybody to do this? Remember, we're new to the area, we have no connections.
None.
So I started to think, Dad and I are just 2 guys trying to dig a hole. So where would I go to find some guys just trying to dig holes? So I thought, why don't I check Facebook Marketplace? And sure enough, when I checked Facebook Marketplace, there were a bunch of guys on there with some skid steers, dozers, and excavators, starting their own business, hustling and grinding like we are. So I messaged a couple of these guys, and within 10 minutes, I got like 3 responses from these guys, and one of those responses was from now our current dirt contractor, and he's been an absolute savior when it comes to connections, knowing where to get materials. I mean, that's how we're building this thing, right? It's just off of searches and referrals and stuff. I mean, it's been absolutely nutty, right?
Yeah, and we're not getting some like guys who are just starting out. They're all licensed, have insurance, all that stuff.
Yeah, the guy who's gonna help us on this project has been digging since 2005.
Yeah.
Enough said on that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So yesterday when that dirt contractor arrived at the site and saw Lake Stud Pack, he said, man, you got to get that water out of there so I can start to work. I said, well, I'm just going to run down and get a cheap little pump. He said, check it out. I've got this guy in the back of my truck. You're free to use it whether you use me or not for the project. And I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
So I said we fire this up and get this water out of here into the storm drain at the street. All right, we got this little gasoline powered pump, little Predator motor, 212 cc. Got a nice pump on this side with a 2-inch intake. And this is probably a 100-foot hose. We got it-
75.
75, and we got it stuck in the storm drain grate out at the street. Here's the intake hose with a strainer on it. Let me throw it in the Lake Stud Pack. Drain some water. All right, you know how to start this thing?
Yeah, you should just be able to pull it. It should be primed and ready to go.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. No, don't mess with that.
No choke or
Nope,
nothing?
nope.
Are you sure? He gave you the rundown on it.
Yeah.
Fuel, we didn't touch that.
Nope.
So how did you turn it off yesterday? How did he
I figured it out. There we go.
Really, dude?
Nice. We draining? Oh my God. You're gonna get me busted, man. Put that back in there.
It's like holding a big snake. All right,
There you go.
I think that'll stay. Well, let's get out of here.
That thing done vibrated itself into the mud.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. You gotta be, okay, don't step down here. Don't step down here. Don't step down here.
All right, guys, we reclaimed the hole we dug. Now you can see how much dirt we removed. That pump we used yesterday made short work of getting a bulk of this water out of here. A lot of this is groundwater, but it's gonna be fine. Plus, we wanted to show the dirt guy that we have a little bit of initiative. We do as much as we can before he gets here. I think we're ready for him. I hear him coming up the road. Let's go check it out. Hey man, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Man, we sure appreciate you coming out on such short notice. As you can see,
No problem.
we rented a little excavator, thought we could DIY it, but quickly learned that we need a pro for this. So I just got a few quick questions. I know you want to get to work.
Sure.
We got this big pile of dirt here. What do you want to do with all the dirt?
We're gonna have to go through that hole with it and get it stockpiled back there and maybe spread it out in the back somewhere.
So if we kept it here and didn't have to pay to dispose of it, that would save Jordan some money, right? So
Absolutely.
I love that. All right, the stump over there, no problem for your machine?
No, we'll cut it out of there.
Easy?
Easy.
All right.
Piece
Now,
of cake.
we had some water seep out. We used your pump yesterday, super appreciate that. But the water that's in there, do we need to get rid of that?
I should be able to corral it out with a dozer when I start cutting in there to cut through the subgrade. I'll
right.
corral it up and get it up out of there and get a dry surface to work from.
All right, now we almost got our excavator stuck right here. Your machine's not gonna get stuck?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, what are you using today?
It'll be a John Deere 450K dozer LGP machine.
All right.
It should do just fine.
How much does it weigh?
About 18,000.
Nice. Let's get that beast unloaded. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
No problem.
Hey, did y'all dig a hole right here to the side of me? A little
Yes.
hole? Oh, you did? It just got filled back in or what? Like right over here to the other side, there's like a little soft spot. Didn't know if y'all dug it or not.
There was a shed right there.
Yeah, those are,
Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Right there.
Oh my gosh.
right here. This is where the shed was.
Okay.
These holes, it's just little pads.
Okay, yeah, because I can feel a bad soft spot right there.
We just pried it was a 12 by 12 little concrete pad, and the cinder blocks are sitting on top of that.
I'm not worried about the dozer getting stuck in it or nothing. I'm just wondering what happened over there.
You ever come across old septic tanks, old septic fields on these properties?
Yeah, I've come across all kind of stuff.
I bet. Kind of been in the back of my head. That's why the ground is so soft, but that's been years and years.
When you pump this water down, does it come back, the water level come back up?
A little bit.
I might take the pump and pump this one back out and pump this one out real quick and see if we can get some of it gone, because I'm trying to see, I want to know what that is.
Okay.
That's definitely different. I mean, there's something going on there. Like if I pump that stump out and water comes rushing up in that hole, that's when you kind of really think that you might have a problem.
All right, guys, we pumped out as much water as we could, but it's too muddy to pump, so he's going to try to push it out with the dozer. He needs to be able to see what he's doing, and the water he can't see. can tell he's on clay now. Look, he's not even moving. It's like concrete down there. Man, that thing's powerful. All right, Justin was able to get down to the clay layer that we were looking for. It's nice and solid, and the geotech guy is here getting his sample of that clay. He's gonna bring it back to the lab and test it, make sure we're good to go for our stud pack foundation.
We got down to a solid subgrade with primarily clay. It feels pretty solid. That's what we're looking for right there, that grade. So we're gonna cut this box out and get all that pushed up out of here and get ready to come in and put our fill in.
Sick, man. You're killing it. You look fearless in there.
What the heck, Justin? We spent a lot of time digging all that out of there. Now you're pushing it back in the hole. What was all this about, starting fresh?
It does look much better, though. Mother Nature giving him a hard time.
He'll win.
Oh my God. No more deck, boys.
That was easy.
All right, guys, Justin's making quick work of this on his bulldozer, but look how deep it is on that right-hand side. But on the left-hand side over here, it's pretty shallow. So he's gonna use some of this dirt, bring it back this way, kind of fill in right here, so Jordan doesn't have to pay so much for select fill to fill in right here where the driveway is gonna be. Made short work of the deck or the little balcony, came right off, and he's kind of getting close to this edge right here, so we made a line for him. He's gonna clear all that out. I think we're good to go. About a foot deeper way over there.
Right.
Pretty interesting. I have a whole new respect for the work that goes into a foundation before concrete is poured, all the soil work. Just think what goes on under an interstate or a mall or a hospital.
What if we move everything back a foot or so? Because I don't know how I'm gonna get. I mean, that's like quicksand. I mean, I don't know how I can get out of it. How close am I to the line right there?
Right where I'm standing, pretty much.
Where's the quicksand up here?
Yeah, it's like right there. Like I can't get up. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to shove anything up that. I can shove it up to that and make a big dam right there, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to get up on top of it.
Is it possible to later, when the pad is built and the concrete's poured, get a little skid steer right through here, and then just come back when it's dry and just move it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
Once it's dry, yeah. When you get a skid steer back here, you would start scooping from that side and moving wherever you want.
Right.
I'm just talking about getting it out of the way to get the pad. We might have to move the whole pad 1 foot this way, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Nice, man, that looks great.
All right, guys, as you can probably tell by the lighting, the sun is going down. Currently, it's about 5:15 p.m. It's the end of the workday, but as you can see, Justin's still in the hole digging it out. So we got some bad news going on here. When we got our soil report, you guys saw that the soil report and our plan said that we needed to remove 24 inches or 2 feet of the topsoil to get down to that sandy clay, which is what the structural engineer wants us to put our select fill on so we can build on it. That stuff is pretty rock hard in there. When you walk down, when you walk down into that pit, it's pretty hard. So we feel really good about it.
I feel like you're walking on the street.
Yeah, it's really nice stuff. But you can see back here that we got like a dam of dirt pretty much. It's a dirt dam, and damn that dirt. We actually found the hole that the soil company used to test the soil with the soil report. It was right here, right at the front of that pit. Just so happens to be the lowest point that they could have gone, or the highest point rather, that clay was at. So that 24 inches, that clay was there, but everywhere else in that hole, it's like 30 to 36, some places 4 feet down. And that's why Justin's frustrated. When he came in here, he thought he was gonna be digging 2 feet and getting out of here, but we're essentially doubling his workload, doubling our stress, and doubling the cost that it's gonna take to fill that hole.
And now we got double the amount of dirt. We thought it was gonna be easy to take that 2 feet of dirt we removed, spread it around the backyard, but now we got twice as much and we have nowhere to put it. So the plan now is we're just gonna stockpile it in the backyard. When we tear down this house and have to excavate for that one, all that dirt comes out from our stockpile, from the foundation for the house, gets loaded in trucks and moved out of here.
That's right, Dad, because when we build the pad for the house, it's gonna be this times 3, times 4, even times 5. We're not gonna be able to push that dirt around the lot. We're gonna have to get it hauled off. So I'm thinking that dirt is gonna have to live there until we're done with the garage. But man, I don't wanna build around all that dirt.
Well, he said he could come back with a skid steer,
Yeah.
go through the pull-through garage, do a little work, move that out of our way. We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to adapt. I mean, it's pretty nuts out here, but we're trying to keep the morale high, but the second 4 o'clock hits and you kind of realize that you're not over the hump yet, you start to kind of plummet. So we're trying to keep it high. Let's keep the morale high.
Yeah, but really like that we removed all that soil. You saw how squishy it was.
Right.
It was like gumbo, no way to build a house on that. So this is what we had to do at this site.
And the bright side, that's a massive amount of progress.
Yep.
Even though we're facing some trials and some tribulations, that is a massive amount of progress. So I'm very excited to see that. It's almost surreal.
And we're learning, right, every day.
Every day.
Because this is a mini build of what we're gonna put right there. All this knowledge we're gaining, we're gonna apply it right over there.
And on top of all this, we got our select fill coming in tomorrow morning. So this has to be ready by tomorrow morning. So that's the stress factor, but he just cut it off. So let's go see what he's up to.
Yep.
Morale should be as high as that dirt pile.
The dirt pile's why our morale isn't high. You sure you're not frustrated?
I'm frustrated now, for sure.
Quick break in the action. Brad and I are here at the store, man. Getting our boy Justin in the dozer, some caffeine and some painkillers, because that's what he wants. He's not feeling it. 5:30, sun's going down. Who is feeling it? Yeah, that pit is way bigger than I ever wanted it to be. Advil? There you go, brother.
All right, gang, Justin is done with the bulldozer, but check this out. I am almost like shoulder level with the grass on either side of the pit. That's how deep he had to go to get to solid earth, based on his experience, and he's right. This is very solid right here.
Yeah.
Just like I said earlier, this is like standing on the road. Jordan's garage is going nowhere. And what do you think, bud? I think instead of building a garage, you need to build a skyscraper because we got the foundation for it.
Stud pack tower.
Or maybe for all of our viewers up north, we got half a basement done. We could just go full basement on you. What do you think, under the garage?
We're gonna have an underground wine cellar. We already talked
that's
about
true.
that.
That's why are we staying up so late, making sure all this is done? Because by this time tomorrow, this is all going to be filled back in with our select fill.
Yeah.
Above grade, perfectly level, ready for us to dig, put in our rebar, pour concrete.
That's
Can't
hard to
wait.
believe.
It is. It can't wait for that. Yeah, it's hard to believe that tomorrow this is going to be full.
Yep.
Yeah. How's your pocketbook feeling
I was just
right
about
now?
to say, this is going to be full, but the bank account's going to be empty.
There you go.
Can't wait for that. He estimated 15 loads for this select fill, but he was looking at it and he was like, oh, 15's not going to be enough.
So I know this seems excessive, but remember what that dirt looked like. We buried an excavator that deep in the front yard just by driving over it. We couldn't put a building on it, so we had to do this.
That's right.
I know there's other options. Maybe we'll look at some of those options when we build the house, like piers. We're gonna talk to the engineers about it, but this is a test building, right?
That's right. We're learning a lot.
We're learning a ton so far. So grab yourself a dozer like that one. Make sure you got nice buildable soil under your like button. Smash it for us. Ask a question, drop a comment. Please subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next Stud Pack video.